Well, the debate on whether guns should be allowed on campus is fired up once again. This time, this is all stemming from Texas State University's student government vote to support a Texas House bill that would allow people to carry concealed handguns on college campuses. Fox 7's Camille Williams joining us live at the UT campus with the story. Camille?
Loriana, here at the UT campus, there's a zero tolerance for guns on campus. And at Texas State University, it's the same way. But yesterday, TSU state government, or student government, I should say, voted 24-10 in support for guns on state college campuses. Now, basically, they want concealed carry regulated just like how it's regulated at places like banks, grocery stores, and churches. Should students be allowed to carry guns on campus? It's an ongoing debate.
I would feel safer. It's been proven, that a well-armed society is a safer society.
They could be going through some hard times and just want to pull it out.
During the 2011 Texas legislative session, a new bill will be introduced to amend state law so students over 21 who've gone through the training to get a concealed handgun license can carry their guns on college campuses. It wasn't long ago when a gunman opened fire at the UT campus. On September 28th, 19-year-old Colton Tooley with an AK-47 fired shots into the air and ran into the Perry Castaneda Library, where he took his own life on the 6th floor. The incident remains fresh in students' minds. Although TSU has not had an incident like that, campus police say they don't think guns on campus would help.
The officers are trained to take out the person that's shooting, no matter who it is. If you have a gun, you're going out.
Either way, the debate continues.
If we were allowed to carry guns on campus, criminals would know that there are people here who are carrying on campus. It would probably be intimidated and not want to come onto campus, because there are people who would be able to take them out if the situation arose.
I think we have campus police, and that's their job. I don't know if I trust the average person to pull out their gun and hopefully shoot the right one. That's a lot of trust to give to just anybody.
All right, so should students be able to pack heat? Joining us to talk more about this issue is John Woods with Gun Free Campus and Scott Lewis from Students for Concealed Carry on Campus. Thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us. But John, I want to begin with you. I know you feel strongly about this because you lost your girlfriend in the Virginia Tech shootings. Have you changed your mind or considered changing your mind? She wasn't armed, right?
I couldn't quite hear what you said, but I just came from a student government meeting here, and our student government voted overwhelmingly in favor of upholding the existing ban. And I do know that the Texas state has done something different. We're still not quite clear on what. We haven't been able to get the text of the resolution, but I think this sort of reflects that perhaps it should be up to individual universities to decide, that it's difficult for the legislature to make rules that affect all the campuses in the state, especially given that they're very unique environments. Everyone's a little bit different. We've got preschools, we've even got grade schools on campus. Well, we have hospitals in a lot of cases. And maybe the blanket ban is inappropriate. I think that's probably the thing we should take away from this. But I'd also just point out that...
I want to get Scott's word, though. I want to talk to Scott Lewis.
But I think that Students for Concealed Carry was founded at Texas State University. So this has sort of been a long time coming.
Okay, well, I do want to get...
There are only 2 universities in the country that we know of that are resolved in favor of guns on campus.
Okay, I want to interrupt for a minute. I want to get Scott Lewis's opinion on this, because a lot of people say you need to protect yourself, and had your girlfriend had a gun, perhaps she could have protected herself back then. Scott, what do you make of this?
Well, look, I'm not going to say how licensed concealed carry could have impacted any particular campus shooting. I think that would be very presumptuous of me. But what I will say is there were people at Virginia Tech who hid under their desks and talked to 911 operators before the gunman walked into the classroom and shot them. There were people who hid under their desks and watched the gunman reload. There is a very real chance that licensed concealed carry could allow someone the means to mitigate this type of violent act before more people are killed. As for the notion that schools should be allowed to set their own policy, there's already a provision in the state law that would allow colleges to opt out of the current gun ban if they wanted to, and so far none have. It doesn't make sense to have a patchwork of laws across the state where maybe it's legal to carry a concealed handgun on this campus but not this campus, or it's legal this year but then there's a new chancellor and he changes it next year, or vice versa. So, state-funded institutions need to be required to adhere to state laws.
And I know Governor Perry feels the same way during the election period. He was saying, there's already guns on campus. They're illegal. We should let people who have guns go on campus because those people are actually law-abiding if they have a concealed weapon permit. John?
I'm sorry, I just finally got a hold of your last question. I think it was whether my girlfriend, whether I wish maybe she'd had a gun. She didn't see the guy come in. She never saw him. And I think that's often, going to be the case if there are school shootings. But I'd point out that school shootings are exceedingly rare. That's really not the issue here. 93% of violent crimes against students happen off campus, not on campus. Suicide, on the other hand, happens all the time on college campuses. We have 3 suicides per year here at the University of Texas, 6 in the last year. That's enemy number 1 for us.
If I can jump in here real quick, the suicide argument is a red herring. If you look at the statistics, 90% of suicides are committed in the victim's home. This would impact the ability of very, very few, if any, students to keep a concealed handgun or any type of firearm in their home. This is going to impact the ability of students and faculty to carry concealed handguns in places like libraries, classrooms, lecture halls, etc. There's a provision in the bill that would allow universities to regulate the storage of firearms in dorms, and even being that, based on statistics, you're looking at maybe 10 to 20 concealed handgun license holders on even Texas's largest university living in on-campus housing. So the idea that this is going to have any impact whatsoever on student suicides is a little bit silly. You're simply not seeing concealed handgun license holders pulling out their guns and shooting themselves at movie theaters and churches and banks and all of these other locations.
And gentlemen, I appreciate
none of the 3 suicides that happened none of the 6 suicides that happened in the last year happened in residence halls. They all happened in on-campus locations, not in people's homes.
I think it's also important to keep in mind that this is just going to allow the same trained, licensed, carefully screened adults who are already carrying concealed handguns in locations like movie theaters, churches, shopping malls, restaurants, banks, even the Texas Capitol to do so on college campuses. They're not causing problems in these other locations. There's no reason to assume they'll cause problems on college campuses. And anyone who wants more information can go to TexasStudentsCarry.com. It's just TexasStudentsPluralCarry.com.
And now that both of you got your plug, John Wood, Scott Lewis, thank you both for joining us. I think the debate for this one will continue to go on. We'll have to see what pans out in the legislative session.